What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Birds of a Feather podcast. It's a little bit of a changing of the times here.
Yeah.
This will be our last episode recorded at home here in Oregon. I'm leaving for Idaho on Friday, and Isaac is leaving the week after me. It was a long week, so we're a little tired. But we're still out here grinding for you guys.
Yeah. I'm so tired after wakeboarding, or wake surfing, dude.
Yeah, it was a long day on the lake yesterday. We went out with a couple of our friends, and shout out Jaslyn. She moved to Utah today, and so we went on the lake, and I think it's called wakeboarding, right? Wake surfing, something like that.
I think surfing.
Wake surfing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you go like.
Because you're surfing, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we went out there. That was a lot of fun. I'm coming back from an ankle injury, but I still gave it a shot. And it didn't, hurt the ankle at all. And it's way harder than it looks, actually. I found that out the hard way after getting waterboarded like the first 5 times. But you were a pro, dude. You cut the move for it.
I mean, it's so weird. I wasn't even expecting to get up on the board because you're not connected to it or anything,
right.
And it just pulls you up. But I mean, once I finally got down, I don't even know what any terms are, so I'm sorry for people who actually do this.
Carving, I think it's called carving.
Yeah,
carving's when you go into the wave. Right?
Yeah, but I can't do that or whatever. So it's once I figure out how to get down in there, and then it was just trying to find that sweet spot. It's impossible.
Yeah,
and then once you lose it, I couldn't find it again.
Yeah, your girlfriend is a pro, dude. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, laying down on her stomach and
360.
Oh yeah, and the 360s. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then we got home. Everyone was dead tired. I fell asleep on the couch.
Got burnt to
yeah,
hell.
Everyone got cooked. But we were starving, but no one really wanted to leave the house. And so we had a little chopped 3v3 cook-off, the boys versus the girls. We set a timer for about an hour and a half and got after it, went to the store. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was locked in. I was
and
no
the
way
food that we were able to produce was actually really good.
Yeah.
Do you want to break down our dish? Because you were kind of like our chef. You kind of let the
so our dish was carbonara. So it's spaghetti, or is the noodles. And then you mix, I used a lot of eggs, but I think I used 12 egg yolks mixed with a whole bunch of Parmesan, lots of pepper, and then I cooked some bacon, chopped that up, threw it in that mix, and then you take the noodles out, put it in another pan that's not on, so it doesn't scramble the eggs, and then you just whip that together with all the mixtures, makes it super creamy.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorites.
It was really good.
And then we had Brussels sprouts, bacon made with the bacon fat from making bacon.
Right.
So that was delicious. And then we had your bread, which that French bread with the mozzarella, tomato, olive oil, and some balsamic glaze.
Yeah.
It was pretty delicious. And water from Italy.
Yeah.
Bottled at the source.
That's an inside joke because Isaac was cooking at the house. Hunter and I ran to the store. Hunter, who was on last week's episode, me and him go to the store and we're just like, all right, do we think we're going to need that? Sure. Throw it in the cart. We spent $50 at Safeway. And so we're pouring this glass of water that we thought was going to be Italian.
Yeah, like fizzy water.
Yeah. And we pour the cup and we decorated it nice. We had an orange, lemon, and lime slice all lined up. It looked really nice. A nice little cube of ice in there. And it was just straight water.
It literally tastes like tap water, so.
And then the girls cooked up a really good meal too. Both of our meals were pretty similar. We both made pasta with some sort of vegetables and bread. But it was really impressive, and it was honestly a pretty creative way to make dinner. We had good food.
We went through every single dish in the house.
Yeah, probably made way too much food.
Oh yeah.
Everyone went back for seconds. So that was a good time. And then at the end of the night, it got kind of sad, honestly, because, Jaslyn took off. She left today for Utah, like we said earlier.
And everybody was getting sentimental.
Yeah.
Oh, remember when we did this? Remember we did that?
Yeah. So that was kind of sad. But, that's bound to happen when people leave, that's just how it is. It's just about making the most of the moment and just processing it as positive as possible and being able to keep moving on because we're going to come back. We're going to be able to see everyone.
It's not like we're leaving forever.
Yeah, and things will obviously be different because you meet new people and your environment, you have to adapt to that, and then you come back. It just happens. That's the way life is. But still super excited for the opportunity to be able to go over to Idaho, do anything. So a little segment we have today, we're just going to go over some of our core memories from our time in Roseburg, since we're both born and raised here. Do you want to start us off?
No, you go. I got the one.
So, off the bat, when I was younger, we used to play wiffle ball in my front yard all the time. It would get super intense. It would be like, we'd take all the kids in the neighborhood, split them in half, and then like sometimes the parents would come play with us too. And my yard wasn't huge, but it was like big enough to play, I guess. And so that would get super competitive. And then we lived right next to an elementary school that we went to, and so we would play basketball, hide and seek, and just a bunch of stuff in the neighborhood, like jumping in people's backyard and stuff like that. It was a really good time. We lived pretty close to a lot of rivers and lakes and stuff, and so in the summer, always going swimming and just hanging out, jumping off the rope swing, taking the boat out. Stuff like that was always super fun and
Don't bring the yacht out.
And so that was always a good time. And then just as I got into high school, just, you know, the memories that you have with all your friends, whether it's going out late at night, hanging out at someone's house. For me, it was never really the events that had like all the hype around it, like a prom or a homecoming or something like that. It was always just like those relaxed nights, like on the back patio with your friends, or just like looking up at the stars and you're just hanging out, having a good conversation. And then just the normal stuff you do in high school as well.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes like the best like memories are the ones that aren't like fabricated, you know, like it just happens,
right?
Like, you know, just somehow get with a bunch of people and just figure out something to do.
And I feel like that's the way you have to live life. Like you just have to allow things to happen by being yourself, and naturally things are going to take their course. And that allows you to have a lot of fun and meet new people. And, you know, fortunately for the both of us, we've been able to meet great people and have extraordinary friendships. So yeah, that's probably some of my best times here in the Berg. Snow days were always cool. I feel like we always got them really late compared to other people. Like usually you get it around Christmas or January, but we would get them like a couple weeks before spring break.
Yeah, it was really
strange.
Snowmageddon and all that horrible stuff.
But yeah, Roseburg's a great town. I'm super grateful to have lived here my entire childhood. My parents have done a great job of, you know, giving me a bunch of opportunities, and
they did a right job raising me.
Raising to be a decent man, I feel like, and so that's really special. And, you know, I definitely know for a fact I'll be back here in town, and even after I get out of college, at some point or another, I plan to come back and make an impact in the community, just like members of the community have had the opportunity to make an impact on us.
Yeah.
And so I'll always be grateful for my time here, and shout out to all the people that I've met, you know, throughout this time, and I'm very grateful for everyone that I've been able to meet.
Yeah. Damn. Some of my favorite core memories are like just ones that, like, even if they weren't cool, whatever. Okay. Well, me and my parents and my sister, we used to have this like badminton net, and my dad made our own poles to like set up the badminton net. But what he did was he took tires, filled them with cement, and put massive poles in the middle of them. And so we strung up a badminton net, and we'd always play badminton at night. And now my dad says that me and my sister will both get one of the freaking tire poles for whenever like we graduate college and stuff.
That's funny.
And then and actually like my dad spiked like what is it, like the shuttlecock or the birdie, like right in my mom's back, like from point blank range. She was so mad, and she never lets him live that down.
Yeah.
But I also did a lot of hiking in the summers. Well, when dad was like gone on fires, mom would take us out hiking and stuff, and with my grandparents. So my grandparents also worked on their farm a lot, just whatever miscellaneous stuff, working in the garden, you know, helping them tackle like goats and sheep to trim their hooves, which is always like a pain, just because they're crazy. But that was always fun. And actually, I spent lots of my summers at my grandparents. Like, and they would pick me up from school, and I think it was like during school, not summer. During school, they pick me up every Wednesday. I'd go over there and help them out. But then summers, I was over there almost like every day. So I really feel bad because like I haven't been able to go over there very much this summer because I've been working. And I love my grandma. She always like tries to guilt trip me, like we talked about last episode. Except she's like, you know, just your little grandma, you know, just be here all alone. My grandson never comes up to see me. So I swear it's worse coming from your grandma.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It's so sad.
I get that too.
But yeah, so it was lots of time with my grandparents. But more towards like high school and stuff, it was just like you said, just hanging out. I mean, in groups and stuff, and I'm gonna miss it for sure.
Yeah, it definitely gonna hit.
Yeah, I mean, I started getting a little sad last night when Jazz left. I'm like, oh man, yeah, we're coming up next,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And Hunter's like, oh, you know, it'd be funny video if like you guys also start leaving and stuff. I'm like, why would you say that to me? That's so sad. What?
Yeah, it's such a hard time because you want to like send it out the right way. Like you don't just want to leave and just not really say anything. Like you want to go throughout your goodbyes and do things the right way.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad because it's the people you've grown up with, and just knowing that throughout the next 7, 8, 9 months, like it's gonna be different. There's gonna be different people in your life, and there's gonna be new experiences, and it's gonna be fun. It's just hard getting over the hump. I think once you get over the hump,
like once you get in a routine, it'll be a lot easier, hopefully.
Yeah, and it just gives some more excitement for when you come back, is that you're able to see everyone and do the stuff we used to be able to do now. And so yeah, looking forward to that. So I am next on the chopping block, like I said. I leave Friday, so this week is really just about like hanging out with the family, spending quality time with them, grabbing lunch with a friend.
Yeah.
Which I've been doing the last couple of weeks, and I'm really running low on money now.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to start cooking stuff at this point. But just I'll probably write goodbye letters to a couple people, and just those that mean the most to me, and just spend time, say my goodbyes, and I'll be back in a couple months. So yeah, that's where we stand as of now. So how you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's it's not. I'm not like too sad. I'm sad,
Right.
But I want to make sure I have time to say bye to all the people.
Exactly.
So which is kind of hard because I have work and I like CrossFit and stuff.
Right.
But it's like I got to make time to say bye to like all the people who have just like influenced me through life, and all the new friends I've made, or like all the old friends. I make sure I say bye to them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so. It's just weird to think about, like, all these people that I've grown up with, they've always been in my life and stuff, and now they're just going to be gone.
Exactly.
I mean, but obviously not going to be gone, because we're still going to come back to Roseburg and stuff, but yeah, it's just, it's weird to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And there'll definitely be growing pains once we get over there, but I think, like you said about the routine, just being able to find your groove, find your niche, and then that's kind of where you're able to succeed and grow from there. Yeah. And, not only is it the end of an era with us leaving town, but also the end of summer. And, with both of us being college athletes, we've been on a pretty strict workout routine throughout the summer. And I want to talk about the discipline that it takes to be able to put in that work, because there's so many distractions, whether it's, your friends inviting you to go do something, or, a different activity that would be really fun, or just whatever it may be, work. But just being able to still get that, your lifts in, your runs in, whatever it may be. I feel like that takes a lot of courage, I guess, to be able to do that, because there's so many parties and activities going on throughout the summer.
It's great.
Yeah. Just because there's, like I said, there's so much different stuff going on, but to be able to say, okay, like, I have to do this in order to be better prepared going down the road. What are kind of your experiences, just not only in the summer, but also throughout school, just having to stay disciplined throughout?
I mean, it's definitely hard, because during this summer, I was like, oh man, okay, I gotta go to work, and then go to CrossFit, eat right, like get some good sleep, and then still trying to find time to hang out with everybody since it's my last summer here. So yeah, it's been rough, because I'll get off work and be like, oh man, it'd be so nice just to go home and take a nap right now. And then Hunter texts me, he's like, hey, you on your way, or like ready to get good lifting? I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right. We gotta get this done, and then I can relax. So I feel like it's you gotta love how much it sucks.
Exactly.
Like,
that makes sense.
Like this one workout me and Hunter were doing, it was brutal. And I was just like, when I was benching, I'm like, yeah, this sucks. Right. I love this, which sounds kind of cheesy, but it actually like helped me get through it. And I think that I've been kind of using that to get through all these like workouts or like roadblocks, being like, oh, I don't want to go, or so it's like, you gotta love how much it sucks. Right.
I remember like a freshman year of football or something, there was a summer workout, and they showed us this video or some sort of clip, I guess, and it was a Navy SEALs like speaker or something. And he
You don't know me, son.
And he said that, you know, they have all those rigorous workouts and they do all that crazy stuff. And he said, you have to embrace the suck. Which is a little suspicious, but you know, I mean, it makes sense when you're in that world of just having a routine, having to do this stuff, knowing that it's making you better prepared. And for me, I guess not only this summer, but just in general, I feel like I'm a pretty reliable, like dependent person. Like a lot of people reach out to me if they need help, or just trying to be a good friend, trying to be there for my people. And so a lot of times if I go to a party or a function and friends need some help or ride home, like I'm kind of the guy that they go to, and not always, but just making my presence felt, knowing like, hey, like I'm here for you. And so seeing people that I'm really not that close with anymore, or people that I used to know, just kind of go down, like make bad decisions and go down the wrong path. I've always seen that and been able to use that as motivation to say, okay, like stick to what you're doing, stay focused, like have fun, but at the end of the day, just make sure you're getting your work in one way or another. Like no matter how tired you are, like it's got to get done. And in the back of my head, you always have a goal, especially in sports, something you want to reach. And for me, running at college, even though it's such a new experience, I still want to be to the best of my abilities and have as much success as I possibly can and maximize my opportunity. And so with me being 18, I really want to be able in a couple years to run at the U20 US championships. Like that would be something really special, especially because of the fact that they do that here in Eugene, at home basically.
Yeah, running. Wait, it was the national championships?
Yeah, U.S. championships.
Yeah, running national or U.S. championships in your home state. That'd be like a dream come true.
Exactly. And so I really want to do that. And so every day, no matter what I'm doing, I keep that in the back of my head, like because when you get to that moment, like obviously it's how you perform in that moment. But it's it's all that work behind the scenes that really dictates how you perform in that moment. Yeah. Because everyone can just show up. Well, not everyone, but most people can just show up and have a good day for 1 or 2 days. But it's about stringing everything together, so when all the pressure's on and everything's on the line, being able to produce a quality performance. I'm sure you've had similar situations yourself. Yeah,
it's like when I was first starting off learning how to do face-offs and stuff, I was trying to do it as much as possible because I wanted to be able to be the best at it, like every time I go against like anybody. Obviously, I'm not the best. I've gone against some guys who are really freaking good. But I feel like I don't know how to word this. Like the harder you work and like the off time, I feel like that's what really gives you the edge to beat your competition. I mean, everybody knows that, everybody says that, but I feel like some people don't really take it to heart. But like, what did I see? Somebody was like, if I work out now, I think it was Mike Tyson or something, something like that. But like he's like he got up really early because he knew that his competition was still sleeping, right? And like that gave him motivation to work even harder and stuff. So I think that's a really good way of going about trying to reach your goals, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. For basketball, throughout my time at the high school, we preached discipline a lot just because, we weren't the most skilled or biggest guys on the court. So it really came down to if we were able to do the little things right, like that would put us in a position
to
do
the little things right every time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, all 4 years, that's all we preached. And by, my senior year, we were finally able to produce some success and a winning season. And that, to me, showed, like, that there is really truth to that. Because there are days when you're waking up early, going to bed late, and you're like, does this really work? Or is this just like, a cliche saying that everyone likes to say? And for me, obviously, there's some people that get up crazy early and do stuff or stay up late. And like, that's when they get their work in. Because like you said, it gives them that feeling that no one else is doing that. Yeah. And I do that myself sometimes as well. I like getting up early and, getting my work in. But for me, it was really about consistency within that. Because people can show up 1 or 2 times in the gym, on the track, in the weight room, and they'll be there, but then the other 4 to 5 days, they're not really doing much. And for me, just seeing that, because I would see that with people on my team, guys on other teams, just people that I was around in general. They'd go really hard 1 or 2 days, and that would make them feel really good about themselves. But for me, it was about if you can go 5 to 6 days and say you have 2 to 3 really productive workouts, those other 2-3 days, you're still getting work in. Maybe you're tired because you've been going all week and you're exhausted, but you're still, as long as you're producing quality work, maybe, you know, your brain, whether it's your mentality or your body, like maybe you're sick, you're sore, whatever, you're still getting in that work and consistency, that's a productive day. You know, that makes sense. Sure. And so just about piling up the good days one day at a time. I feel like that consistency factor really plays a role as well. And that's something you don't really see in a lot of athletes our age sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like even like sometimes I won't want to do my face-off reps. Just I'll be like, I can do this later, you know.
Right, yeah.
But if I do, I mean, I haven't always done this, but I try and do 10 minutes a day of getting reps in. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been very good lately. But so Coach Blanchard, I'm sorry. But it's just like even just a little bit every day will get you better for the future. Yeah. And like once I start like doing my reps, I'll be like, oh man, I feel good. I'm glad I did this. Like, but you just have to actually start.
Exactly.
Which is the hard part. But I saw this guy, I can't remember. I think his name's Tyler Sandoval. He's a face-off guy at Princeton.
Oh, I've seen him on TikTok.
Dude, he's so inspirational. But he was talking about the 3-2-1 method. He's like, you say 3-2-1 start, and then you just start and you don't stop until you finish.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way to like make sure you're consistent. Like every day, like, all right, 3-2-1, I'm doing this.
Let's go. Yeah. And we've talked about that before on previous episodes about just attacking the day and just knowing, you know, when your opportunities are going to come to a halt. So you just have to be aggressive and go after, you know. So shifting our focus a little bit, you know, we're going to talk about some entertainment, some good shows, good movies going on right now. The Johnny Manziel documentary, that's a big one going around on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but you know, on TikTok they always have clips of shows.
And I think I've watched like 10 movies on TikTok.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of clips of this documentary, and it kind of goes behind the scenes of, you know, how he would just go out and party and drink all the time, but then show up on Saturday or Sunday, and especially in college, like he was so successful, Heisman Trophy winner, but then once he got into the NFL, all that stuff like catches up with him. You know, he was a bust and was only in the league for a couple of years. So that was really, you know, interesting documentary. But what else? Have you watched anything recently?
No. I watched Barbie.
Yeah. Oh, how was that? What's the Barbie take?
It's interesting. Me personally, I didn't like it, just cause it was really weird. Like, I don't mean to like really get like like political. I don't know but I thought it was weird. They made like men seem like they were terrible people. Okay. Like the whole point was men were taking over the world and they have to take them down. It was weird, but then girls like, oh, like it's not about that. There's like a different meaning about like girls and stuff. Like it was actually so obvious that I was like my mind was actually blown. I was like, you can make a movie about this? I didn't understand because they're like singing about like how these men are terrible and like men were taking over the government. Yeah. And it actually like blew my mind. I don't even know how to explain it.
When it first came out and I saw it, because it was a big like, are you going to Barbie, are you going to Oppenheimer? Like that.
I wish I saw Oppenheimer.
I still am waiting to see it. The problem is it's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
I just don't have the time out of my day to go do that. And so when Barbie first came out, and then all the reviews started coming in, and you know, like they're putting, like you said, a political twist on it. Yeah. That was weird.
I thought it was just supposed to be like about Barbies.
Yeah, I mean it's about a doll that everyone played with as a kid. Like it's weird that when you make a movie,
I thought it was gonna be like a kids movie.
Right. Like that would make sense. Like it's a doll that girls played with growing. Yeah, like why would you try and add in? And I haven't seen it, but why there shouldn't be any deeper meaning. No, it's no different than like when the Mario Kart movie came out. I went and watched that, and I thought it was sick because it had all the stuff that you played as a kid, and all the nostalgia comes rushing back, and there's no deeper meaning.
No, it's just Mario.
Right, and so if you're like, I'm not saying movies are made for specific genders, but Barbie is pretty much like the targeted audience is women and like teenage girls, because when they were young, that was like the go-to toy that they played with. And so just the way like things are in society, and people always trying to like spread their propaganda or message through something that they know is going to go to a younger audience, I guess, is like, it's kind of weird to me. It's just strange.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's like in church today, like how Billy was talking about how like you during like all the COVID stuff, like you couldn't really trust much news because there was just so much like either people were super biased or like you just couldn't trust it.
Yeah, and both sides too, like what he was talking about with the doctors. Like one doctor sends him an email saying, you know, you should preach about everyone having to get vaccinated because, you know, whatever message in the Bible supports
the mark of the beast or whatever it is.
But then you have a doctor who is on the opposite side saying you should preach not to get a vaccine.
Because, the mark of the beast is that one.
Right. Yeah. And so to me, like that just shows like how sick people can kind of be. You know? It's just kind of foul, and honestly, it's kind of sad. You see it a lot in today's society. Just people, like they can't, there's no, I don't know how to really describe this, but there's no mutual understanding. Like if I have an opinion on something and your opinion is different, we should be able to say, okay, like agree to disagree and just move on. But people have such a problem with that.
Like they have to make sure the other person knows that they're wrong or like their opinion is wrong compared to theirs.
So, and even like when I go to Planet Fitness and work out, they have all the TVs up there, and Fox and CNN are always two of the channels on there. And the other day I was in there and Fox and CNN are right next to each other, and they're talking about like Trump getting indicted or some political topic. And one says, you know, I don't know what it was, like it was Fox, and it said Trump support, you know, increases after indictment. And then it was like, and then you go look at CNN one, it's like Trump, you know, supporting percentage or whatever it was, like drops. And it's just like it's so hard to believe. Yeah. And so people just want to get their opinion and messages out there, and they try and spread it through false facts and narratives. And you know, especially as kids, like it's really hard to form your own opinion when there's that surrounding.
And kids are super impressionable.
Like exactly.
And, like you could probably like I used to tell my little cousins that my sister's name was something else than it really was, and they're like, and they would believe it.
Yeah.
So it's really messed up, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It's a sad world that we live in at times, you know.
Yeah.
And this is one topic I wanted to, you know, talk about before we wrap this up. We're both college athletes at the Division II level, and so that is under NCAA. But in Division I football, there's a lot of conference realignment, as it's being called. There's a lot of West Coast schools, you know, going to different conferences. The Pac-12 is pretty much a thing of the past, and we have friends. Shout out Tiger Black. He's playing football at Oregon State. And me, you know, I'm a big Washington Huskies fan, and now they're joining the Big Ten. And a big issue that is, you know, came up in all of this is traveling with athletes, because these schools, you know, whether it's TV deals or endorsements, they kind of just look at the money and say, all right, yeah, we'll take it because they're going to make more money. So now you have all these West Coast schools flying to the Midwest or up north to Minnesota, Ohio, and, you know, some of them obviously going Texas, Oklahoma, just in the Big Ten and Big 12, depending on who went where. And it's just really unfortunate to me because with both of us being athletes, like there's so much pressure between balancing athletics and school, and you're always taught growing up that school comes first. But when you see these people in suits making these kind of deals, it doesn't really feel that way. You know what I mean?
It feels like you have to like be on your like in your sport 100% of the time. Yeah,
exactly. And so, you know, we're both athletes, and I just want to get your take on this because we don't get, you know, private jets or even a plane for a lot of our, you know, events.
There's a lot of buses.
Yeah, because our conference, you know, travels to Oregon, Washington, Montana, Utah, Alaska, and Canada as well. And so for us, you know, we bus to pretty much everywhere with a couple exceptions, you know, maybe Alaska and Canada sometimes. Sometimes you have to drive into Canada. And so I just want to get your take on if you had to travel, say, you know, and then you left their conference, whatever, for more money, and now you have to get on 3 or 4 connect flights to go to Florida, Alabama, you know, Massachusetts, like you're going all over. Like, how would that really make you feel?
I mean, obviously it'd be freaking awesome,
Right.
like to go travel all these
Exactly.
places. But I don't know. It's really hard because, like I said, it'd be super cool to go fly everywhere.
Exactly.
But I feel like, man, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
You
it.
just have to experience it. I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, and like you said, obviously the travel and seeing all the new places is cool,
Mhm.
and not a lot of people get to do that. Especially, I mean, you're paying for school, but you're not really paying for all that travel. So I mean, in some sort of way, it's for free or at least cheaper.
Yeah.
But just all like that. Eventually, that all catches up with you. All the travel you go through.
I feel like that would just be killer for like
And
trying to do schoolwork.
You're like never in class probably
Mhm.
either. Especially like track, you have cross country in the fall, indoor in the winter, outdoor in the spring. And lacrosse, especially just college sports in general, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
And
You're always
so
training.
You never have time to really go in when your teacher has open hours and just go ask
Mhm.
a question or go see if you can get help on an assignment. Like that's such a limited opportunity. And obviously bigger schools have tutors and smaller schools try and support with someone.
Mhm.
But still, that just is such a hard task. And, I feel like it's honestly disappointing in a way because it really doesn't feel like they're putting the athletes first when in all reality, that's what it probably should be.
Yeah, they're mostly thinking about how much money can we make from sending these players somewhere instead of like, I mean, it might help the athlete's future because they play against good teams or
Right,
whatever.
more exposure.
Yeah, but it's like maybe think about trying to somehow get some more time in classes for them.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
I mean, I don't really know how all that works.
Right.
I mean, I'm not in college yet.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if they really cared about the athletes, they would try and get some more time for them to go in classes or get tutor hours for them, and they might do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but because not everybody's gonna go play pro.
Exactly.
I feel like it's a really small percentage that will.
Yeah.
So they gotta get.
Someone's got to get a degree.
Yeah, and get prepared for the future.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, you got to get a job at some point.
Right. And, I'm a very traditional guy, and so growing up watching the Pac-12, there's just so much rich history in it. I mean, you have the Oregon-Washington rivalry, which is probably my favorite. Even though I live in Oregon, being a Washington fan, you just hear from all your friends, like, so that was always really fun. And they'll still play against each other.
Like the Civil War and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, growing up in Oregon, you have Oregon State versus the Ducks. Like, that's always a big one. And there's just so much, rivalries and whatnot. And all of that's kind of getting thrown out the window just for, the dollar sign.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really unfortunate because, that's what people look forward to. Like, that's why you watch it. That's why you go to certain schools. Like, you take pride in being where you're from, playing for, your hometown or your home state, whatever it may be. And now things are going to be a lot different. It's going to be, pretty awkward and strange, I think, at first. After this football season wraps up, then that'll take place, obviously.
Yeah, it's next.
Yeah, not this year, but the next one. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll obviously still watch because I love watching football.
Yeah, especially college football.
That's definitely my favorite, for
yeah.
sure. So, yeah, that's definitely interesting, and I think there's going to be a lot of problems. And I think you're going to start to hear more from student athletes about it.
And I feel like from fans too. I mean, I'm sure they'll be excited to see like their home teams playing other places, but I feel like they're going to be a little mad that they're not like staying in their in the original conference.
It's just not as easy as to attend a game.
Yeah.
Because,
I want, if I want to go watch Oregon, I want to go watch them play another Pac-12 team.
Exactly.
But now they're gone.
And if you're in a different area, like if the Ducks are playing USC and you're in LA or in Southern California, you're like, okay, I can drive over there and go catch a game.
Yeah.
And now that's not really an option. Like, you're not going to go fly to go watch them play Minnesota on a Saturday night in November because it's going to be freezing, first of all. And, like, that's not a convenient option.
No, not at all.
So, we'll see. I think it'll definitely be interesting to watch. I'm not really a fan of it. But we'll see. Hopefully it never happens to us. I'll say that. I would like to stick around. Obviously coming back to Oregon for some track meets will be really fun, getting to see friends and family. So yeah, that's what I say. So before we wrap it up, we do have some things in the works behind the scenes that I want to talk about a little bit. On our second episode, we passed 100 different listeners on Spotify. And so we want to say thank you to everyone that's listened in.
Thank you, everybody.
Much love. The YouTube channel, for those that commented and watched there, YouTube's up and running. We figured that out as well.
Finally.
Took us long enough. So thank you guys. But so when you pass 100 different listeners, you are eligible for sponsors. And so we're starting to look into that a little bit.
So if your business wants to sponsor Birds of Feather podcast, you can reach our email at thebirdsofeather5@gmail.com with inquiries.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so we definitely want to give, a shout out to all the local businesses that have already supported us in the community, just with sports and
for all the sports sponsorships and stuff.
We're always selling posters, throughout high school and doing all that. And even scholarships, like you have so many scholarship foundations throughout town.
For Family Foundation, all that stuff.
So we just want to say thank you to you guys.
Thanks to Roseburg.
Yeah, just the whole town. And so if there's anyone who's interested, feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely be reaching out to people as well. We should have some pretty exciting news about that that we'll be announcing here hopefully shortly before both of us take off. And we just want to give a huge thank you to the community, the town. This place is really special to me, and being born and raised here. So you got anything?
No, man, you summed it up pretty well.
All right, that's going to do it. We're super tired. We're going to bed. We'll see you guys next week, probably over Zoom.
Yeah, probably over Zoom. That's crazy. I didn't think about that.
So we'll have to figure that one out. This is episode 3. Thanks for listening. Much love, everybody.
Rock on.
I'm so tired.
You're saying I'm dying on the inside.